Okay, I decided to make this video 2 parts. So the first part is just going to be questions 1 through 6 on this geometry section. Remember, the first question is on circumference, and circumference is the outside of a circle. Okay, and it tells us the whole circumference is 50. So it wants us to figure out what is the radius. Well, remember that the radius is from the center to the outside is the radius, and then all the way across is the diameter. And it wants us to know the outside. The formula that we typically use is circumference equals pi times d. So to work this backwards, we did 50 equals, because it told us the circumference was 50. We know that pi is 3.14, and then we are looking diameter to start with. When we move this over, just because it's closer to what we're used to do like that. Now 3.14 times d, the opposite of multiplying is dividing, so we're going to divide both sides by 3.14. So when we do 50 divided by 3.14 equals, and I'll be honest with you, the first time I did this, I looked right over here and I said, yep, the answer is 16. But then when I went back and looked at it closer, it asked for the radius, and radius means I only want half of it. The formula says diameter, so now I need to divide that by 2. So then the answer is 7.9. That's going to be closest to 8. So we have to be careful. If you got 16, you knew what you were doing, but you just didn't read it carefully like I did the first time as well. It says a circular mirror has a circumference of 85. So again, we know the circumference, and we're having to work this backwards. So I know the formula is circumference equals pi times d. So circumference is 85, 3.14 is pi, and then d. Now this time we don't have to divide by 2 because it's asking us for the diameter. Take this 85 over here, just because that's more like what we're used to. Is 3.14 times d, so we're going to divide by 3.14. So 85 divided by 3.14, and that's going to give us 27. So the closest answer is 27. Okay. Now, if we forgot how to work these problems backwards, we could, knowing the formula, just do pi d. I'm not recommending to do this, but if we forgot, we could take 3.14 and then do times 5, times 14, times 27, and times 54 and see which one gives us 85. So there is a way to work it backwards. If we forget, we can use the numbers to help us. I'm not saying rely on that. That's just a worst case scenario. Okay, we got a circus rents a rectangular building that has floor dimensions of 100 by 50 or 50 by 100, and it says the building can fit 2 circus rings shaped like circles, each with a diameter of 42. So we've got it sketched out for us, and it says to the nearest square foot, how many square feet of the floor are not covered. So basically we're looking for, okay, what is this highlighted section? All this part that's not covered, what is that going to equal? So the way I think about this is we're going to take that whole rectangle, we're going to subtract out one circle, and then we're going to subtract out another circle. To me, that is the easiest way to think about that. So to do the area of a rectangle is going to be length times width. So we've got 100 times 50. I imagine most of you can do that in your head. We've got 5,000 here. So now this is going to be pi times r times r. Both of these, we don't have to do it twice because they're really both the same. Now, this is not radius, this is diameter. So I need to do the radius, so I'm going to divide by 2, and the radius is going to be 21. So this is going to be 3.14 times 21 times 21. So 3.14 times 21 times 21, that's going to give us 3184.74. So then this one is also going to be this very same thing. And I wrote it backwards again. Maybe I'm dyslexic. Okay, so what I need to do is take this whole rectangle, which is going to be 5,000, I'm going to subtract my first circle. Okay, then I'm going to subtract my second circle. And that's going to give me A, because it took that 0.5 and rounded it up. Okay, so now let's move on to, I reckon these questions are kind of all about a circus, because they have the horse little rides at circuses a lot of times, or fairs. Okay, a man holds a rope and leads a horse. The horse walks in a circular path as shown by the dashed line. So you got the horse that's walking around and around and around as the man is standing in the center. And it says that the length of the rope from the man to the horse is 9.5 feet. So from here to here, it already shows us it's 9.5 feet. And it says, how far does the horse walk in one trip? So what you're doing, which I think that's the head of the horse actually, so it's walking this way. So we're going to do circumference. So circumference equals pi times d. So we've got 3.14. So now we've got to figure out the diameter. Well, if we know that the radius is 9.5, then we know that right over here is another 9.5. So 9.5 and 9.5, we could add those two together, or we could say 9.5 times 2, either one. We're going to get 19. So then we're going to do 3.14 times, well, and that's 187. So, did I do something wrong? Apparently. 3.14 times 19. Gracious, can't even punch on a calculator. Alrighty, so that's going to give us 60. So now we are going to irrigate a circular field. When we irrigate the field, we're going to do a straight pipe, it says, as shown by this dashed line. So that's going to be a radius. And it says the pipe will rotate to the center of the field. So it's like this pipe is going to sit like this and go around and around and around. She knows that the circular field has an area of 125,600 square feet. What is the length of the irrigation pipe? Well, this is one of those problems where we're going to have to work it backwards, because we haven't covered in class how to do square roots yet. But we do know that the formula for, not circumference, but area equals pi times r times r. So what I could do is I could take 3.14 and I could try the first one, times put 200 here and put 200 here. So 3.14 times 200 times 200. Then I'm going to try choice B, 3.14 times 400 times 400, and then 3.14, and I keep trying until I get this answer. So if I start 3.14 times 200 times 200, that actually already gives me what I need. So I know that my answer is going to be A. So that's the way that we can use the answers to help us when we don't know how to solve one. We know the concept, but we don't know exactly how to solve it. All right, now we've got a circular lollipop, and it says that it has a radius of 1.5. It says, what is the area of the lollipop? So area, we know, is pi times r times r. So the area is going to be 3.14 times, it says radius times radius, which it did give us the radius, so we don't have to think quite as hard. And when we round that, which it's hard to see, when we round that, it's going to be 7.07. So now we're going to start part 2.